Here we go. Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys are all having a beautiful Sunday night. As always, I like to start off with this video by saying, hopefully everybody that is an essential worker right now, the ones that are in the workforce, from nurses, doctors, scientists, anything that has to do to that is trying to fight this whole coronavirus right now. Hopefully you guys are staying safe and you guys are doing your thing, and we're all rooting for you. We're all praying for you. Hopefully this thing goes really fast, and hopefully a miracle happens soon, because the quicker, we all do the same thing, we all take precautions, the quicker we get through with this. And the ones that are self quarantine right now, hopefully you guys are taking self-care, enjoying your time with your loved ones right now, being precautions about it as well. As always, before and after every meal, wash your hands. If you got a cough, cough in your shoulder. And if you are an essential worker and you start feeling sick, ain't no shame of going home, man. The quicker we all do our part, the quicker this bowl is over, and the quicker we get back to our normal lives, which I'm sure is what a lot of people want right now. So, as long as we all do our part, we should have no worries about anything. So, as always, that's always the first message. My name is Juan Rodriguez. I usually go by Junior. This video today is coming to you from YouTube Live and the Facebook Live Sports Page app that we put. So always, make sure to tune in there for any pre-videos and everything. And today is actually a very special video today, because today is actually our first guest. He's a dear friend of mine. I've known him since 2014, when I kind of returned a little bit after my Army day was over. In October 2013, I left the Army. I came back home, and just a few months later, we started working together at a warehouse in Chino. And he's a really good dude. And the topic today, Miami's on the clock, but originally this pick belonged to the Steelers. So we're going to be talking about the Steelers today. If you guys want any more info about Miami, go back to the previous videos, which was the 5th video, I believe, to hear anything about Miami. But I will be making Miami's pick. Today, my special guest is a friend of mine. His name is David Marquez. He is a Steeler fan. He is a diehard, and I consider him one of my dearest friends. And all you need to know about him, he loves his Steelers, and he's not afraid to criticize either, which is what I like about him. Sometimes you meet fans and they're kind of, too proud to admit their flaws, but he's not one of them. He will tell you like it is, and that's what I respect about him. He still owes me one game. He did tell me that he was going to go to the Raiders-Steeler game in Oakland, but I guess his flight got canceled or something. I don't know, but I would like to introduce you to him now. David, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Junior?
Hey, how you doing? How's it going? Everything good?
Everything's good, man.
That's good. Good.
Quarantine and chill, man.
Yeah, that's do you ever think we ever get to a life like this, man? Just like, this is the first time in the world where, we all have to stay home and like not screw it up.
Man, I never thought it'd be like this.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird things. Like I never, it's just, this is kind of like unusual territory for me too, because, usually, I know what we're fighting, but this time we're not sure what we're fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Hopefully this video, distracts some people, with some good laughs and some true heart statements. And today's your day, David. We're going to talk about your Steelers, man.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Yeah, for the people that are, excuse me, David, the people that are commenting, yes, I did try to set this up for another split face video, but I don't know if my platform is messed up or something's going on. The best I got is, sound on a speaker, and I apologize for everybody out there. I'm going to try to figure this out. So next time, hopefully we talk to David. Hopefully we can do a split face video if that's okay with him, but hopefully, this is just as good. We got here. I think it's only appropriate, and I know it's hard to bring this up. We really have to go back to not this past season, but the past season before that, which was week 16. David, let me ask you a question. If I told you Antonio Brown was going to get you 14 receptions, 185 yards, and 2 touchdowns against that tough Saints defense, and I told you the following week he wasn't going to play, what would you have told me, not knowing what was going to happen to him afterwards, just right then and there? What would you have told me?
You know what, man? Being honest with you, Antonio Brown was my guy. So had you asked me that back then, I would have said no way in hell that's happening. But as we all seen how everything played out, kind of exactly what happened.
Well, I mean, we talked about this. I think like the Monday after the final game where you guys beat the Bengals, and the Browns actually needed to beat the Ravens for you guys to get into the playoffs, but then Baker Mayfield decided to throw an interception straight to CJ Mosley, and then that ended your season right there. And we talked a little bit afterwards, and we kind of looked at each other, and we're like, I didn't know what was going on. None of us knew, but as time went on, it became to show that Antonio Brown was just losing trust in the locker room. Would you be fair? That's fair to say?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think a lot of it had to do with his attitude and the emergence of Juju Smith-Schuster. I think that played a big factor into all of it, too. So,
I mean, everything.
Kind of crazy how that whole situation played out.
And then I don't know if you remember, I remember that day after, or a couple days after, the Raiders-Steeler game. I remember I texted you. I said good game, which was the first thing. And then after that, you told me, holy crap, we have to win the next 3 to even think about the playoffs. And you beat the Patriots. That was good. But then you lost to the Saints on a Juju fumble, and then you beat the Bengals. So you guys had to do what you had to do. It's just literally that loss to the Raiders, just whatever momentum you guys were having, because you guys were just trying to fight your way to the final end of the season. And it just, week 17, the whole, show started, the whole carnival, I would say, with the whole Antonio Brown thing. And then Le'Veon Bell was still a hot topic at that time because you tagged him. He never showed up. He went a whole year without playing until he finally came back this year to play with the Jets. I mean, what were your thoughts on that? Like, I wouldn't even know how to describe like what the hell happened right there.
I kind of see it from both points of view on that whole situation that played out. Le'Veon Bell at that time, especially to the Steelers, he was an asset. I mean, in every aspect of the game, offensively. His asking price was a little steep. I don't know the exact numbers on everything, but I know that the contract that he ended up signing with the Jets came up to just a little bit more than what we were offering him. I know he got more up front in that Jets deal than what we were offering him. I think he just did what was best for him. But from a player standpoint, you got to respect. From a fan standpoint, I was a little upset just because the impact that he could have had playing that season. It's hard. It's a tough one for me. Still to this day, I'm a Le'Veon Bell fan. Even though he's no longer with us, I just think he did what was best for him. Probably didn't work out the best for him situation-wise. You've seen the season that they had last year with the Jets, and still a young team and everything. I didn't really think they fit his run style. So, I'm happy with James Conner. I could say that the Steelers probably won that deal right there, especially still having James Conner on his rookie contract deal. So, yeah, it's a love-hate thing with that whole situation. Different than the Antonio Brown situation, just because
because the whole thing the thing that got me with the whole Le'Veon thing, it's I think it's all fair to say that we've never seen anything like that. I've never seen a player get tagged and then not play a year. Like that was, to me, that was kind of like, oh, what the heck, like moment, like what the hell just happened, I usually, when they tag somebody, it's either contract dispute, and if they can't figure it out, they'll sign, or he'll sign the tender and then he'll come back. but it's usually by like the end of training camp is when they'll come back. But this is the first time where it's like, okay, Le'Veon, you have until this week to say something. And literally, when he didn't show up to that practice field that final week, and I think we were actually watching a live video at work because we were about to go home, and we were watching a live video, and then I didn't know what was going on. I looked at you. I'm like, hey, did Le'Veon sign? And he's all, dude, he never even showed up. I'm like, are you kidding me? He didn't even have like the gall to show up and like try to work something out. Like that's when I knew it's like it's over, man. I think the whole relationship with Le'Veon was just over right there.
Yeah, it was exactly pretty much how it played out. Like you said, when we were talking about it at that point, yeah, I kind of already knew that the triple Bs were going to be breaking up. With Le'Veon Bell sitting out that season, and then all the drama that occurred that whole season with Antonio Brown. You've seen how that whole thing played out.
Oh man, so, yeah, I don't know what.
It was tough.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I never. How can I put this? I've never seen a coach tell his superstar wide receiver, "Hey man, you're not going to play. Like you're just not going to play." And the thing is, with the whole Mike Tomlin situation at this time, I think he's doing a heck of a job for what the talent he has and for what he's doing. To go 8-8 with the roster that he unfortunately had to get with this past year, I thought he did an amazing job. And the thing is, it's hard because the Steelers as a franchise are known to always seem to be in the mix of competing for a championship. Well, it seems now for like the past few seasons now, it's like, okay, the question has now becoming a part of the factor. How many more years does Mike Tomlin have? And for me, I think it's kind of unfair because you look at the roster that he had last year and the talent that he had, and for him to go 8-8, I thought that was incredible. I mean, you put any other coach, you put at least 50% of other coaches there, they would have losing records. For him to go 8-8, I thought that was an incredible feat. I mean, what's your take on that with the whole Mike Tomlin and how you think he handled the whole situation with Antonio, Le'Veon, and just how he handled the locker room? Because that must have been that had to be like a riot at some point where everybody just had to question him at this point.
You know what? During that whole time, I remember talking to Jonathan, friend of ours.
Yeah.
While this whole thing was going down, and I just remember telling them because that whole time that Mike Tomlin was catching criticism, all that stuff. I think it got a little bit out of his control. And we see how the Antonio Brown situation played out. Not only getting cut by the Raiders, cut by the Patriots, the legal matters that he's into now. I think that was kind of a knock on Coach Tomlin. Wasn't really his fault, but under his jurisdiction, he should have had some control over it. So respectfully said, he caught his fair share of criticism.
I mean, because the thing is with Tomlin, just from as a fan looking from the sidelines and in the stands is, he looks like a dude who he's cold face. And what I mean by that is like, it's his team or you're not even going to like sniff the field. I mean, that's kind of fair to say, no?
Yeah. And that's kind of how, coach is. But you got to give it to him, though. He's a fair guy. If you go out there and prove you can play, you're gonna see the shit.
Oh, fairness is not the issue because I'm pretty sure, like behind the scenes, for what we don't know, I'm sure he gave Antonio a ton of chances. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely. And there was even reports that had came out from ex-Steelers players saying that Coach Tomlin had like a special schedule for Antonio Brown. He kind of, I guess you could say, he recognizes what could eventually happen with Antonio Brown. So he tried to keep him out of trouble as much as he could. But I mean, in the end, I don't think there probably is a coach in the NFL that could have kept the Antonio Brown situation from happening. So
yeah, I mean, it takes a
I was really impressed with them though.
I mean, it takes a special dude to to have the patience for Antonio Brown. I mean, John Gruden cut Antonio Brown at the end of camp, and then Bill Belichick cut him within a week. So I mean, Mike Tomlin has to be a pretty special dude to have that under control to an extent. So the season's over. The season was over
before that happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it takes it, but so the season's over. You guys lost, or you guys won, but you needed Cleveland to win. They lose, so okay, season's done. That's the end of the Steelers' 2019 season. So we moved to March. And the biggest rumor at that point was you guys were going to move from Antonio Brown. Everybody thought that was crazy. But then at March, it happened. You traded him to the Raiders for a third and a fifth because at that time you had no third, or you did have a third, but you didn't have a fifth. So you wanted that extra fifth. The Raiders agreed. And then the whole crap show with Antonio happened, from literally getting frozen feet. Like, he got cold feet. Like, this is not a joke. He did get cold feet, and then he went out his way to call Mike Mayock a word I'm not going to say because I'm not allowed to say, or else I'll get banned from YouTube. And then he gets cut at training camp with the Raiders, and then he goes to New England, which is, in my opinion, that was the biggest cop out, man. That was like, come on, seriously. At that time, thank God, Bill Belichick did cut him, because if had Antonio stayed with New England was going to be world champions. I mean, I don't care. What you cannot change my mind at that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so that happened, and then we moved to April. We go to your draft, and from the looks of the names that you guys got, it wasn't a bad draft. You know what I mean? Like,
I think we ended up getting Deontay Johnson out of the third round pick that we got.
Yeah, our third round pick. You drafted a wide receiver with our third round pick, which is what the Raiders have been needing now for like the better end of the decade now, which is a number one wide receiver. Now, Deontay Johnson, It's yet to be seen if he's a number one wide receiver, but he looks like he belongs in the NFL. He looks that good.
Yeah.
And then to go back to it, you guys made one of the biggest jumps in the first round, though. You guys went from 20 to 10, trading your 20th pick and your second round pick to Denver to get Devin Bush. Now, I said it last year, and I told you last year about it, and I was like, man, if the Raiders can walk away with Devin White or Devin Bush, I'll be a happy man. And we walked away with neither. You ended up getting Devin Bush, and every time I turned on the freaking screen, there he was. There he freaking was, man. Making plays, flying all over the field. What's your initial response from Devin Bush? Because for me, as a scouting these guys and watching these guys, I know what he's capable of. But how, as you as a fan, do you think he did in a sense replacing Ryan Shazier since that freak accident?
You know what, man? To be honest, I was excited when we traded him. I already knew it. Just watching his college tape. I already knew his play would transition well, especially in defense. Versatile, fast. Speed is pretty much what our defense is, going for right now, especially with the linebackers. So he was a perfect fit. So I was ecstatic when we traded him.
And then
20 to 10 to get that guy.
I mean, it was a steep price, but for a player like that, I think it was worth the admission. Would you agree?
I would. I would definitely say that. He was in the mix for defensive player of the year. There was a bunch of guys this year, balled out on defense, defensively when they came in. So he was up there. He didn't really get as much playing time in the beginning of the season.
No.
Towards the end of the season, he got a lot more. So I'm excited for the year 2 growth.
Well, because it showed.
I'm excited to see him.
And you were right. I mean, the beginning of the year, he did a couple things here and there, but it wasn't until like the middle, like kind of at the end, where they finally gave him the full starter. And from the get-go, when he put his foot in the pedal, it was just showtime for him, and he did his thing.
Right, and then especially with us letting go of Mark Barron, I think he's going to get a lot more.
Oh yeah, he'll get more. Yeah, Oh yeah, no,
I'm excited for this season.
no, that's your middle linebacker for the next like probably 10 to like 15 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
hopefully.
and then you guys went Benny Snell, running back out of Kentucky. He had a couple nice moments, for you guys. The running back out of Kentucky. He had a couple nice moments, and then Zach Gentry, the tight end from Michigan. And literally, what it was just defense, because your next three picks after that was Sutton Smith, the defensive end out of Northern Illinois, Isaiah Buggs out of Alabama, Ulysses Gilbert out of Akron, I should say, before I get killed from Cleveland land. But overall, I mean, your class, I mean, it seemed like they all contributed in some way. So that has to give you hope now that, hey, maybe there is hope in Pittsburgh after all.
Yeah, they got a very good draft system that they go by. We don't always draft for need. We tend to take the best person on the board. So it's been working out for us. I'm excited for this draft coming up. Even though we don't have a first, I'm more excited looking into our third, fourth round picks.
Yeah,
that's where we've been hitting. That's where we've been hitting the last couple of seasons. So
yeah, and then
those are the picks that I'm really looking at.
So the draft's over. You guys had a good draft class, and it showed throughout the play of the year. Then somewhere in the beginning of the season, you guys traded. The reason you guys don't have a first this year was because you traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick. And at that time, talking to my buddies, they thought that was a terrible move. I was so mad. I was so pissed that if all it took to trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick was one first rounder, I would have given up either 12 or 19 at this point. The two first rounders we had, I would have gladly traded one of our first rounders that we had this year for Minkah Fitzpatrick, if that's all it took. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the second Minkah came in, it seemed like he was always doing a pick six every game. Every time I turned on the Steelers game from that point on, it seemed like he was close to like a pick six or something. And I was
they put him at his true position, somewhere he was comfortable with, and he flourished. Having him on the field with that defense after week 3 is exactly what we needed. So,
I mean,
I think it was a first and a second, or
I think it was just a first and a fourth. I think, but I mean, if that's all it took, I would have gladly handed over those picks. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. We weren't getting a player of this caliber in the draft this year with the pick that we traded to Miami for him. So I think that worked out perfect for us.
I mean, I'm sure Miami's happy they got 3 first rounders, but you guys give Minkah Fitzpatrick. So I'm pretty sure at this point it's looking like a fair trade, But so you guys traded for him, and it wasn't little after Big Ben got hurt, and we didn't know the severity of it until down the road. They did put him injured reserve, and then you guys had to go from Big Ben to Mason to Hodges back to Mason. Look, it's no secret. We all saw it. Life after Big Ben does not look good. It just doesn't look good. I mean, how many more years do you think Big Ben's got? Like, truly, honestly, how many more years do you think the big fella's got?
I'm gonna have to see him play after this injury. I want to say maybe 2 at the most. This upcoming season and the season after, that'll probably be it. If he can make it through the season.
I mean, as a fan, do you feel comfortable with your quarterback room right now, or do you just feel like, oh man, we got to do something?
You know what? When Big Ben went down last year, I was kind of excited for Mason Rudolph. I was following him a lot during summer and OTAs, everything like that. Sounded like he was balling out, so I was really excited for him to take over. You see how that went. The Hodges came in. He played good a couple games, but we didn't have that quarterback that we're used to in Big Ben. Somebody who extends the plays, makes those throws that most quarterbacks can't make. So right now, I can't say that I'm honestly comfortable with that quarterback room. I don't think that our successor to Big Ben is on the roster yet. Hopefully they can draft somebody sleeper wise in the draft this year, or bring Cam.
Oh, bring Cam Newton? Is that what you're saying? Bring in Cam?
I'm saying bring Cam. Let him rehab. Have him take another season to kind of get right. Hopefully if Big Ben can't get through the whole season,
here comes Cam.
Shot. If not,
I mean,
he has his spot.
I mean, it's interesting you say that because, like, I've never seen two former number 1 draft picks in the free agency pool this long. There's Cam Newton and then there's Jameis Winston. Like, I've never seen two number 1s that are quarterbacks in the free agency pool this long. Usually it's because they couldn't come with a contract and there's teams lining up. There's teams that have, like, no interest in these guys. But this is kind of the first where I'm actually hearing, bringing Cam Newton as a backup. I mean, at this point, do you guys really have anything to lose bringing in Cam? I don't see the risk factor in it, but I could see where it could be a problem where if, you bring in Cam and let's say Big Ben does get hurt, Cam does amazing, you still have Big Ben for that other year, but you can get out of that deal. I don't know how that would go well over the Steeler fans, the local Steeler fans in Pittsburgh. It's like, you can't just cut Big Ben. Like, that's our guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't see that, David. That's like asking the city to burn, man.
I'm just saying, we gotta see how he's gonna be after the surgery, coming back, at his age. I'm a little bit.
Yeah. No, and
definitely.
And that's what I said.
One of the saddest days for me will be either when Big Ben retires or is traded, cut, whatever the case is. But I don't know. I just we gotta think future. And like I said, it was a suggestion. If not, hopefully we draft somebody this year. If not next year. But we need to do something definitely, because if Big Ben gets hurt again, I'm definitely not comfortable with Hodges and Rudolph.
Well,
if he goes down with the season and be injured again.
Oh yeah.
We need to do something.
Well, sticking to the Mason Rudolph, I have to get your opinion on this because I've heard it from outside of teams that are, not fans of the Browns or the Steelers. And after that sentence, I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this. I've heard a couple of my Brown friends, say that, Mason Rudolph deserves everything that he got. Give it to me straight, man. Who was more at fault here with the Myles Garrett incident? And I know you know what I'm talking about. Like, I've never seen a man literally hit another dude with the helmet like that. Like, that to me was the first time where I literally saw assault on the football field.
Wow. So there really is Brown fans?
Hey, dude, you know me, dude. I was stationed in Kentucky. Cleveland's only like a few hours up, man. It's not that far. It's a drive, but it's worth a drive. That's like me going to Arizona right now. I do know Browns fans, believe it or not. And they say, and a bunch of people said it too, that outside of fans that are outside of Browns and Steeler fans, that, yeah, Mason Rudolph deserved everything he got from Myles Garrett. Me personally, I thought Myles Garrett went a little out of hand. And now his accusation with Mason Rudolph saying, the N-word, I didn't hear anything. There's no wiretapping. There's no proof that he said it. I can only judge from what I saw. And this is what I saw. Myles Garrett was trying to make a play. He believed Mason Rudolph still had the ball. Maybe pushing him to the ground was a little too much. I don't know what happened there. I see Mason Rudolph kick him where, you're not supposed to kick another man. They went at it for a bit. Their offensive line pushed Rudolph and Garrett away, but here comes Rudolph trying to attack him again. Garrett had the helmet, so at his point, he's thinking self-defense. Bam. And all hell breaks loose. Now, coming from a Steelers fan, because I have not, which is surprising to me, I have not heard a Steeler fan say anything about this incident other than this is like BS. Let's set it straight now. What, in your opinion, as a Steeler fan, who was more at fault here? What was going through your mind when you saw this?
You want to know who I think was at fault here?
I want to know, because if I need honest Steeler opinions, and that's why I called you on today. Give me your honest opinion. Who was at fault here?
I think it was 100% the referee's fault.
Oh, here now, this right here is something I was not ready for. The referees. What the heck they had to do with this?
Hear me out. Hear me out, okay?
Oh boy, here we go, guys.
Okay. In that scenario, end of the game, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You put Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes in that situation, right? It was a late hit that put Mason to the ground, right? Let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is.
To that extent,
if Myles Garrett puts that same hit on a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes,
death penalty.
The referees are gonna get involved into that ASAP.
Oh, dude, if any of those guys, it's death penalty to the core. I mean, they're setting up.
This is my reasoning on it being the referee's fault. Referees were nowhere to be seen.
Oof.
Right? Which led to the mouth pulling, which led to the helmet ripping off, which led to the swinging of the helmet. And still at that point, who was breaking it? The players were breaking it. Referees weren't even involved. So I say that's 100% the referee's fault. As soon as that hit was laid, as soon as they seen them on the floor, should have got involved, separated everybody. They reacted kind of late, it escalated. 100% the referee's fault.
Because I mean, let's be honest, dude. What, 9 seconds left in the game? Who would have thought with 9 seconds left like that would happen? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, to me, it was just kind of like, I mean, I could call a spade a spade. That was getting him, wrapping him up is one thing. Shoving him to the ground after by then he doesn't have the ball. Okay, dude, that's a little too far now. I know you guys won the game, but do it right. You know what I mean?
You still throw that flag. You still intervene. You still separate. They let the whole thing get out of hand, and we saw how that played out.
Oof. Yeah. Well, this is the first time I've actually heard the refs. Like it was only one or two. I mean, I've heard it was Mason Rudolph's fault, or I've heard Myles Garrett is an animal. I've actually heard that David DeCastro and Villanueva should have just been like, they should be kicked out too for, doing their thing. And I'm just kind of like, wait a minute, they're the ones that was trying to break it up, but I guess something happened. And it was just one thing after the other. And this is honestly the first time where I could say the refs are a factor here, because I've never even thought about that. I didn't even think about that the refs didn't even try. And you're right. I mean, we could probably go back to that video and we could probably see the refs trying to break it up after the fact. But before then, I didn't see any sense of urgency. And you're right. You are right on that part.
Yeah, that's just how I felt about it when the whole thing went down.
I mean, it's just, and to the guys that are watching this video, that are me talking to David right now, you guys got to understand, this guy is true diehard. He loves the Steelers, but he can call a spade, and he can tell you when things are going right, and he can tell you when things are going bad. And that's what I love about this man. That's why he's on the show today. So, David, one more thing before we let you go here. We don't know if football's coming back, but their NFL's going business as usual, and I want to talk about the free agents that you brought in. So you guys you weren't cap space, but you're really trying to be smart about this by the way it's looking by your signings. You brought in Eric Ebron on a good tight end deal. I mean, yeah, he's kind of inconsistent, but we can all agree when the dude's catching fire, he's on fire, and it's hard to stop that dude. So,
right.
Did you like the signing of Ebron, or was that one of those like, we can go somewhere else with it?
You know what? I love that signing. I think he's gonna complement Big Ben well. especially red zone. You know how Big Ben is.
Yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
loves hitting his tight ends in the end zone. So I think with an athletic tight end like him, and we have Vance McDonald. I think our tight end group is going to be pretty special this year.
And then
Sorry.
And then you tagged Bud Dupree. So, I mean, he was about this close to hitting the market. And then at the last minute, you guys tagged him. What do you think the chances of him actually getting a long-term deal was? Do you think they couldn't just figure it out this year? Or do you think it really is a prove it to me again, one more year deal? I mean, because I see it as they just couldn't figure out numbers. So they said the best safe option was just to tag him. I mean, what's your opinion on this?
With Bud, we all had kind of high expectations for him when we drafted him. I think last year was what we expected he was going to be. Obviously, contract year, he's had a very good season. I think if he can repeat, put up similar numbers to what he did last year, he complements T.J. Watt on the edge very good. So I think the Steelers will come to an agreement with him if he can just show some consistency in it. First 3 seasons, he was off and on. But last year I think he really showed us what he could do. So if he can mirror it, show us, again with this upcoming season what he can do, I think the Steelers are gonna give him what he deserves. Keep him in there for another maybe 4 years.
And you know what?
But yeah, I was happy with that franchise tag.
And to be honest, that's a scary thought, man. To have Bud Dupree on one end, T.J. Watt on the other, and then Devin Bush is controlling the middle. That's that's scary as hell, man.
Oh yeah, don't forget my boy, big Cam Hayward.
Oh no, Cam. Oh no, never. I mean that's your linebacking core now is like, man, is probably what defensive coordinators dream about. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean,
hopefully we got Tuitt coming back.
Oh yeah.
This season, that defensive line is going to be something nice.
And then speaking of Watt, if one Watt wasn't enough, you have another Watt and Derek Watt, the fullback coming from the Chargers. I mean, basically it's a Steelers signing. And what I mean by that, the Steelers have always been known to be a running football team, just a smash mouth in your face type of attitude. So, I mean, bringing Derek Watt in, it's like, oh, they're going back to the power game, man. I think that's something that the Steelers have been kind of lacking here the last couple seasons.
I think that's going to help probably James Conner the most with that Derek Watt signing. Rosie Nick last year, he was hurt the majority of the season.
Yeah.
The year prior to that, we saw what James Conner could do with the healthy, Rosie Nick in there blocking for him.
Oh yeah.
So I think the person who benefits the most is probably James Conner. This year, look for him to have a breakout season, year 3.
And then let's see.
I'm really excited for that Derek Watt sign, especially with us, having to release Rosie Nick. Like you said, Steelers are a power run team. We love to utilize the fullback, so I'm really excited on that one.
And I mean, the reason I bring that up is because, your offensive line, I mean, they're not getting any younger. They're still a good unit. It's just eventually age catches to them. And I think what it is now, is they're just trying to, it's either got to be now or it's never with this offensive line unit because they can't stay young forever, Eventually one of them, their contract ends or they just get old, So to me, it's either a now or never type of case for them. I mean, because your offensive line unit is one of the best out there. I mean, you just read off the names. Pouncey, Villanueva. Now you got Stephen Wisniewski in there. Zach Banner's coming back. I mean, De Castro. I mean, that offensive line unit, it's massive. It's freaking massive. But at the same time, they're not getting any younger. So to me, it's one of those, they need to win now more than ever. And especially before Big Ben finally does call it a career.
Right. Yeah. Offensive line. I think we're going to probably address it this year's draft, next year's draft. Especially with we got Ramon Foster retiring. We actually let DJ Finney sign with another team. He was, backup center, good offensive lineman. So I think they're going to address it probably in the draft, if not definitely next year free agency.
And then one more thing before we got to let you go. Antonio Brown left. We already discussed about this. Did you feel that Juju was ready for the number one spot? Because I kind of felt it was too soon for him, even though it was, his third year. I still felt he still needed to work on some things. And I think I told you this once, being a number two is easy, but when you got to go 2-1, that's a whole different animal. Like that's a whole different league. Like being a number one wide receiver in the NFL is like you're in the NFL, but you're playing another game in the NFL because now you got to go up against corners like Gilmore, Byron Jones. You got, the kids up anywhere you look at, there's corners everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's,
Right.
Did you think Juju was ready for that number one, or how did you assess that as the season went on?
So Juju is my boy, right? Big Juju fan. Was he ready? He could have been. Now, what I mean by that is if he would have had a mentor that kind of would have, took him under his wing, showed him the road, I think he could have been ready for it. But I think what he had with Antonio Brown was more of like a competition thing. Antonio Brown, you can tell, was protective of his status as a wide receiver on the team. So I don't really think that he helped prepare Juju for it. Which we all witnessed last season with Juju being, the number one, going up against the number one.
Because
he didn't have his best season.
From the get-go, they told Juju from the get-go, you're our new number one. By the way, we opened the season against the Patriots. You got to go up against Stephon Gilmore. What? Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, what the heck is that all about? You know what I mean?
The Patriots in general, because whether you're going up against the number one or number two D-back, it's not easier.
I'm pretty sure that's a Sunday night game you want to forget, right? That week one opener against the Patriots. I'm pretty sure you're never gonna remember that game, are you?
No, man. Definitely not gonna remember that one.
Oh man! And then one more thing, the NFL on Tuesday finally approved a playoff expansion. I personally don't like it because now the way I look at it is if you add another two teams, 50% of the league makes the playoffs. Now 45% of the team makes the playoffs. What did you think about it? Are you in favor of this playoff expansion, or do you think they should have just kept it the way it was? Because for me, I look at it as we're going to reward mediocrity to a team that doesn't really deserve it, because in this year's playoff format, you guys would have been the 7th seed. However, you guys would have had played against Kansas City. Did you guys really think you were going to get Kansas City if the playoffs would have happened this year the way they proposed it?
No.
And
to be honest with you, I was happy that we didn't even get the 6th seed. I felt the Titans deserved it more. I thought that they would have played better than we would have at the time, just with the quarterback play on how we had it at the end of the season.
And
we couldn't even beat the Jets. So let alone going into the playoffs and losing in the playoffs. I was good on that.
Dude, don't even feel.
As far as the expansion of that, I just think it was another way for the NFL to make money on a game. I don't really care for it too much. I'm not for it. I'm not for another wild card game.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat. It's just I'm not in favor for it. And then but as far as the Titans go, forget quarterback play. I think that was all Derrick Henry at this point. You know what I mean? It's just it was watching like a linebacker running with the ball perfectly. Who the heck wants to tackle that man? Who Who?
What's sad about that situation is his play got Tannehill pace.
And that's the thing. It's like, how the hell are you going to tag the man who literally ran for you to the playoffs, but you're going to give Tannehill all this money? I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. I don't know why running backs are so devalued. I mean, the excuse is always this, well, they're only one injury away. Well, yeah, so is everybody else. I mean, you got to pay them for what they're worth. But I mean, I don't know. To me, I just find it weird that they gave Tannehill that money and, Derrick Henry has to play under the franchise tag. I think he proved his worth to the Titans. I think he should get a massive contract. But I mean, I guess the Titans have different plans. So I don't know what that was all about either.
Yeah.
But, well, David, it was nice talking to you. We actually did get some good feedback today. As always, dude, stay safe. I'm always a phone call away if you ever need anything. And then, just stay safe out there, dude, because it's a weird time right now. So I really don't know. What to expect out there. But just take care of your family and just stay safe out there, brother.
Definitely, you too, Junior. Thank you, man. Whenever you need me, I'm ready.
All right.
I had fun, so.
Oh man, no problem. Yeah, well, like I said, dude, this video is gonna be going up soon, and if anything, I'll send you a link to it. That way you can watch it and then go from there. But I appreciate you doing this for me, man. I really do. It was pretty fun, man.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
All right, brother. We'll be talking.
All right, that was David Marquez, everybody. One of the best Steeler fans I know. All right, David, have a wonderful night, brother.
All right, let's go Steeler Nation.
You still owe me that one game, though. I expect the Steelers to come next time to freaking Vegas. You're going to be there, right?
I'll be there.
All right.
I told Jonathan that no ticket.
I mean, you flaked on me when they played in Oakland. I had to take somebody else, but that's okay. It actually turned out for the best, man.
Next time.
All right, David. Have a good night, brother. Take care.
All right, brother.
All right. Peace out, my man.
Peace out, man.
All right, everybody. So that was David Marquez. He, like I said, longtime Steeler fan and a good friend of mine. He loves everything about the Steelers, and there was nothing to it other than that. I mean, he made his point clear. Mike Tomlin could have not done a better job, and this was it. I mean, he gives it to you straight. And for any Steeler fan out there that it doesn't agree, that's what this whole show is about. It's to agree to disagree. I mean, that's what it is all about. I mean, yeah. And the good thing about it is, we're all respectful, and and that's what the show's all about. And I'm glad you guys are having fun. But as I stated earlier, this is actually Miami's pick. And for Joan Garcia here, we got a comment. Good questions on your part, JR. Hey, thanks, brother. I really appreciate that, man. Had to ask the questions, and hopefully it all goes. But like I said originally, this is Miami's pick. The reason we talked about the Steelers today, because this pick originally belonged to the Steelers due to the trade with Mika Fitzpatrick, though. This is how Miami got the pick. So with the first video of Miami, I told you guys that they were going to go quarterback, and I had them taking Justin Herbert. So now, with how the draft is going on, it really is BPA. It really is how much of your depth is hurting and what needs help more on your depth at this point of the draft. So I think we are ready. Do we have the sound? Okay, so here we go, guys. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet because we've already been in here for almost 50 minutes. Again, I want to thank David for tuning in, but here we go. This is my prediction on what I believe the Miami Dolphins are going to do with the 18th pick, their second pick. They have another first rounder later on with the 2020 NFL draft. Yeah, there we go. We got some more fans up in here now. Here we go, guys. With the 18th pick in the 2020 NFL draft, the Miami Dolphins select Josh Jones, offensive tackle out of Houston. Like I said, guys, this can go either way. They can either go offensive lineman or they can go defensive lineman. But I just think at this point, they want to get an offensive tackle to replace Jeremy Tunsil. I think that's what they're going for. So Josh Jones, he's a really good offensive tackle. I mean, I'll give you some intangibles here. He's 6'5", 311 pounds. He has a 33 and a three-quarter arm length and a 10.5 hand size. The pros about him is when you go back to the Senior Bowl, he dominated every day one-on-one drills. It doesn't matter who it was. It could have been the best defensive end at that point. It didn't matter. He handled his business. He showed why he was the best offensive lineman in that showing. Hand usage, A plus. He just knows where to go with his hands. He knows how to beat the power rush. He knows how to beat the speed rush. He knows how to beat the bull rush, the spins, outs. It's all good. He's got that. The thing what a lot of people were questioning was his underrated power, but he ended up getting 24 bench presses at the combine. So that was another check mark. Power, not a question no more with the combine performance he had. And he's just a fluid, natural athlete. He's an athletic offensive lineman and he's just good. I think the only cons about him now is his age. He's going to be 24 when the NFL season starts, which is a little bit old for a rookie. Usually they're 22, 21, 23 by the latest, but he's going to be 24 when the first game starts. So usually at that point, he's already working to the end of his first contract. He's just going to get his first contract at age 24. And sometimes his footwork can get messy. Even though he's a natural athlete, his footwork can get messy because he likes to bend more on the waist than he does on his knees, and that can really be an issue for speed rushers, especially in that division. With the AFC East now, with Buffalo and the Jets starting to build something defensively, that could be a problem. He has to learn how to move with his hips and his waist more than relying on his natural athletic skills. But at the combine, he ran a 5.2. He got a 10-yard split of 1.8. And as I mentioned earlier, 24 bench press reps, a 28.5 vertical, and 11 feet broad jump. So all that tells me is just athleticism. And I think that's a perfect replacement for Jeremy Tunsil. I don't think they would go anywhere else other than offensive lineman. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think offensive lineman is what Miami's probably thinking at 18. And they have, I say this a lot, like, is there talent enough for these guys, other guys, to draft an offensive lineman? No, because they don't pick in the second round. But because Miami has another first round in the 20s, they can choose an offensive lineman here. They can take a flyer on Josh Jones and see how it goes from there. And that will wrap it up for today. Tomorrow, the Raiders are back on the clock, but just like today, we're going to be talking about the Bears. The Bears is going to be the topics tomorrow. Julian Garcia, I'm ready for tomorrow. Raiders, that's right, Raider Nation, baby. That's what it is all about, Raider Nation. But tomorrow, the topic is the Bears. We're going to talk about the Bears tomorrow, and same thing today. Talk about the Bears, and then I'll make my selection for the Raiders. But I might have another guest tomorrow. I have to confirm with the person, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully, thanks again to David Marquez for being my my guest today for the Steelers. And he's a really cool fan. So I'll try to get more info about it. But thank you again, David, for helping me make this video. And Joan Garcia with the comment, I'm on tomorrow. Phone call. Okay, then I guess we're good. I guess the Raiders we do have a special guest tomorrow, Julian Garcia, also known as the biggest pain in my butt, my brother. No, he's a good dude. We'll try to set something up. Hopefully I can get the video screen thing to work. If not, it'll be more like this phone call or speaker call, and we'll go from there. But thank you, David, again, for taking time out of your Sunday night to be part of the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and leaving me comments. Do we have any comments on the Facebook Live? Not today? Man. And as always, this show is more about you guys than it is about me. So any comments you guys might have, bring them on, and we'll talk about it. But again, tomorrow, the Raiders are on the clock again. But tomorrow it is about the Bears. We will have to get through the Bears, and then we'll talk a little bit more Raiders tomorrow with my brother and see what he says. Other than that, have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful night. Ugh. Sorry, I've been talking for almost an hour and I forgot how to talk. Have a beautiful night. And you guys stay safe out there. All right. It's a new weekend. So keep it strong, start strong, finish strong, as I always say. So have a wonderful night, everybody.